Welcome to another edition of Teacher Talk, where real teachers discuss real issues that happen within our schools and in our school district. I'm Dr. Dedrick Messenger.
And I'm Jackie Collins.
Welcome. What we got today, Sister Jackie?
All right, so I thought, with everything that goes on in schools daily, I just kind of wanted to get some feedback from you about leadership in the schools. So let's start with what is good leadership to you? What does that look like?
Good leadership. I would start out, I think leadership should start with servant leadership, where we, as leaders in the school, more so, and I'm looking from a pastoral perspective also. Well, a lot of times when we get into leadership role, we're looking for people to serve us. But I think leaders are supposed to serve the people. And we lose so much knowledge and so much, so much information, because if I'm serving, then you can give me feedback on what I'm doing. But if you're serving, I never give you feedback until, it's very necessary for me to give you feedback. And what I mean with
That's
that is
an
that,
interesting perspective.
what I mean is like if I'm serving you, you and I go, guys, tell me what do we? Then I'm talking to you. What do we need to do?
Right.
Because I'm over here as the leader, and I'm serving the people, so I need to know what the people want. What do y'all want me to do? How do y'all? What do you need from me? So I'm serving the people. So now I'm trying to give you what you want.
So kind of like as a leader, you want to have a perspective of all inclusive.
Right.
Whereas sometimes as the leader, it's all about do what I say.
Right. And I said it like that because I think you need to recognize me as the leader. But you said the word all inclusive. So we recognize that we're a group, just like a family. Just like a family. We don't rule with an iron fist as fathers, because everybody know who we are and they know our role. And when something go down, we need to ask daddy about this, or we need to ask mama, whoever the leader is, you know what I'm saying? So here we are, we find that, then we go, and watch this, they start figuring out, they tell you what they want, and then you say, how can we do this? Mom, I want to go, or dad, I want to go to whatever park, Disney World. And you go, oh, that's a good idea. Let's talk about that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But if I'm waiting I'm waiting for you to bring me everything every time. Well, I'm the one that's leading. I don't know how you're going to do it. And a lot of times we're afraid to go to leadership because we have been so dogmatic in the things that we do that we will not open the door. People don't see an opportunity to go in and say, man, this would be really great for us.
So do you feel like in your educational career that you've had some good leadership? And if so, what did that look like on a day-to-day basis? What did that leadership look like?
I'm gonna tell you what that leadership looked like. I had a great leadership, a couple principles. I worked for 3 different principles. My first principal stood at the door every morning. Good morning, messenger. You see what I'm saying? Have an awesome day. It wasn't about what do you need, what do you don't need. It was just the fact that the presence of leadership was there. And that person took a vested interest to welcome me to that school every day. So out of that leadership, it created leadership within us for the students. Well, we would stand at our doors and say, welcome students. The modeling of it all. You see what I'm saying? That and good leadership allows you to teach to your strengths. It allows you to have a voice of, I don't believe in this, or I do believe in this, and not afraid to use your voice. It's not that you are going against me as the leader, but we're talking about how this can work out for the good of the school system, as opposed to saying you are going against me. That's what good leadership looks like.
Let's go back, because you said the presence of the leadership. So should a leader always have one of the characteristics of being interpersonal? And
I think
what
they do.
happens if that leadership doesn't have those interpersonal skills? Like you're saying, that leader said, "Good morning, messenger,"
Yeah.
and "Have an awesome day."
Mhm.
So that's interpersonal relationships that you're talking about. That leader came around and wanted to ensure that you felt good about being there. Because oftentimes in my career, and what I've noticed is if the leader doesn't have that interpersonal relationship with the staff, there's a high number of teachers absent because I don't think they think you care.
Yeah.
They're just kind of going day to day and not really putting their all into it. Whereas when you get that leader that shows you those interpersonal skills, shows you that they care,
Mhm.
then I think we go that extra mile and put our all
We
into
do,
it.
we do. I think, let me say this, when you got a leader that you can't see,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is it brings tension when he finally shows up.
Mm. Good point.
It brings so much tension when he finally shows up that you can't even function
Mm.
because you're not used to him or her even being in your presence, and you think you got to walk the straight and narrow to the point that you got to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when leadership finds that there's no imperfection in anyone, even within himself,
Mm-hmm.
and people can see that they make mistakes when you can laugh and joke, but then again they know where the line is drawn at in the sand, that he is leader,
Mm-hmm.
that he is the one. I always say it like this when it comes down, at the church. I'm very personable with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when the time come to pray, they know who I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
They just say, "Hey, we got to get to the pastor for this.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor, we need to talk about this. The ball game time is over. The barbecue and all that stuff."
Mm-hmm.
But when we find that when we do this, we find ourselves, and just in the school, we can get to that point where we can go in. You don't have to, see every teacher, because teachers come through many different doors. We got passages, you see what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the key is that we got to make ourselves readily visible
Mm-hmm.
to teachers, so when they run into us, it's not like I seen a ghost. Oh my goodness. Man, Dr. Messenger's on the hall. Everybody, people texting each other. Dr. Messenger walking down the hall.
Right.
Get yourself together.
They kind of do that when the superintendent.
Superintendent is, like the superintendent. You said what I'm saying?
Superintendent is, well, what should we be doing prior to his visit, and
Right.
what do you want us to change
Right.
during his visit? is
So
what I'm thinking.
principal walk in my room, nothing changes.
Right.
Because I've been in his presence so much.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changes. What are you doing, man? Hey, come on, man, join us. Help us out here.
Right.
I'll ask him a question. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What do you think? So we feel good about this, as opposed to thinking that every time that we run into leadership, we're being evaluated.
Mm.
So many teachers feel that, man, evaluate me. It's something he's taking a mental note of, that I'm not doing right, something I'm not saying.
But that could be true in some cases.
Well, it is in some cases, because I've had now on the opposite end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a principal from hell
Mm-hmm.
that we lost more than 50% of our staff to within a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those people do exist.
But was it because that person did not have the interpersonal relationship with teachers, or what created such a morale problem in the school when you experienced the teacher from hell? I mean, the principal from hell, that leadership.
Never been in a leadership position.
That person had not.
Never been in a leadership position.
But you got to start somewhere.
I know,
So
but
that doesn't
you
mean-
wasn't an assistant, never an assistant principal,
Mhm.
never a coach or anything. You were just held up to, boom, you're a principal through the powers that be.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you come in and you start ruling with an iron fist, as opposed to you're afraid to delegate. You're afraid to allow people to work to their strengths. You're afraid because you think you're going to lose something because you don't know anybody. They just threw you in a school where you had a strong school, and there was a very cohesive bond with teachers. 41-year teachers quit now all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Why would they have 41 years? They loved what they did. They stayed at their school. I was low man on totem pole. I think I had 12, 13 years at the time. But the key is that why would teachers just start walking out on you?
But I would think that even if that person served as a coach, even if that person served as an assistant principal, I still think that that person would um, perform in that leadership role the same exact way as being the top dog in a sense.
But I understand what you're saying, but
I think it's because your skills are not where they need to be,
and that's what I'm saying.
Regardless to the role,
regardless, right? You really hadn't you don't know how to operate in a leadership position, so you're doing what you think is right. Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times we would get guys to come in that had military backgrounds, and they would try to they didn't know anything about servant leadership because they was always, hey, get over here and sit down, do this. They was forced. That was their leadership style.
Right.
And I think there's so many leadership styles, Sister Jackie, that we don't understand. But I think when we come back to school, the school system where we're at, we must be in a servant leadership style because we're dealing with so many. I mean, we're dealing with a very diverse group of people.
As the leader does.
The leader is
dealing with a very diverse group of adults. Not kids, adults.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So when we come in, you got all these adults from different backgrounds that are already raising their families on with their whatever they do.
Their core values.
Then you got all these core values coming in with 700 parents from 700 students.
Right.
You got all this coming in. So the best thing to do, you can't. My thing is this: if you listen, let me put that down as a leader, listening. If you listen and have a genuine concern about what people are saying or what they're thinking needs to be done, not the fact that I'm going to change it, but I heard you.
Well, that's a very good point because not all the time do you go to your boss or go to a leader looking for an answer or solution from them. Sometimes I go thinking, okay, maybe this will work. I'm going to offer a solution, but before I can even give a solution, they're giving me, well, we need to do this, and I'm like, wait a second, hear me out here because, I've kind of thought about this and walked through it. So sometimes as leaders, they are so quick to offer solutions and not let it play out, which, that will hold me back in a sense. I'm like, there's no need for me to even go and express, my thought or my concern because they're going to come with, that's what they want to do. You know what I mean?
And let me throw another one in there. There cannot be a spirit of favoritism. Because I'm going to tell you something. In our school system, as much as we hate to say this, there is a spirit of favoritism when it comes to faculty members. And it's blatant favoritism that people can see. Every teacher knows who these teachers can see. And then when these surveys come out, they and especially when they're anonymous surveys and nobody knows where, oh man, they're putting teachers on blast. You're sitting in there and your name comes up that is Dedrick Messenger the principal or you the principal? I'm just going to use my name. I'll use my name. Dedrick the principal, you the principal. Because, I'm just saying, these are the things because, we feel that Dedrick's poop don't stink. It's stuff like that. These are the things that start being written and teachers are lashing out. So here you are, you have a disgruntled teacher based on your actions. You have a teacher that can approach you, and they've drawn a line in the sand to say that whatever they do, it ain't going to work anyway. It ain't going to make a difference.
And I think sometimes we lose good.
You lose a good teacher.
Good teacher. We lose good talent. We lose people that have such great ideas. It's because the leader doesn't want to listen.
That's right. And we can share the wealth. Thing, we can share the wealth.
You may have a good idea 1 month, and then the next month I may have a good idea. Right. So, and then we don't have to do your idea every single month. Even if my idea is good, let's go with someone else's idea because it's all inclusive. I think when we do not include everyone, that's when that morale starts to break down. 100%.
Now watch this. You said something about include. And see, what we look at a lot of times from a leadership perspective, we want to include volunteers. Sometimes, as I call it, I have to catch a fish. I have to hook you and pull you in. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackie, you can do this. I can't do that. I can't do that, Mr. So-and-so. Yes, you can. I need you to do this.
Right, right.
I'm going to bring you up because you know what? You've spoken to me about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody needs to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about it because this is the plan that you made and you know exactly how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
We have to reel people in sometime and we have to come. And then what's this? Even from a friend, Jackie, I understand that you're a counselor. Everybody needs to know what you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to know what you do. Tell them what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they understand your role in this school because they're getting your role and my role mixed up.
I think that's a very good point. I think that's a breakdown in leadership as well, is because they allow teachers to assume this is the counselor's job and then allow us to assume this is the teacher's job rather than, hey, I know I'm the teacher, but here's my true responsibilities. Yes, I can help with this, or I know I'm the counselor. Here are my true responsibilities. Like this kid is depressed. Parents say this kid is very depressed. I'm gonna send you down to the counseling office so they can treat you. Well, that's not what we necessarily do.
And let me say this: as a leadership, as a leader, see, I would tell everybody in the school, you're going to hear from every grade level, and not grade level. You're not. I'm saying every special area.
Oh,
so you're going to hear from the counselor. Yeah. You're going to hear from the art teacher, the music teacher, the band teacher, whatever. You're going to hear what their program is. So, because so many people think that PE and art is a break or whatever that these kids are not getting through. I'm just being honest with you.
Oh, I know.
But in order, good leadership will support what you're doing because we have a lot of principals that don't understand the special area, and they're evaluating us on these things, but they don't really understand it. Why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do this? Well, that wasn't my job to do this. I'm staying in my area of strength here. So it's sort of teacher. I remember once I'll give you an example. I did this fantastic lesson on how to create a stamp and the process of making a stamp. And I got wrote off for not writing a letter. And I'm saying that's what the teacher, I want the classroom teacher to do that. So let's put these things together and let's talk about whatever we need to talk about, but that's not a part of it. So they didn't understand that part of what I'm saying. But good leadership, they will come and they will figure out what Jackie's doing. I just want to sit and see how you're counseling, not evaluating. I just want to know what you do. I find this interesting. I want to come in your classroom. I want to do a project with you. I want to come in your classroom. I want to learn how to play the xylophone. I want to come in here. I'm going to learn how to play tetherball or whatever. Right. They don't. If you notice that leadership if I was in the church, they would want me to know something about every organization that's in that church. You should know what an usher does. You should know this as a pastor. Am I right? Well, I don't know what they do. Well, you're the pastor. That's what they would say. Am I right?
Or better yet, couldn't help connect it.
Right.
Like the situation you described with making a stamp.
Yeah.
The leader should go to the writing teachers or the English teacher or the language teacher, whatever they call it on each level, and say, hey, I saw Dr. Messenger's class, they were making this great stamp. It would be good if you all practice with the kids on writing a letter, and let's connect. And Dr. Messenger, how do you feel about if English helps them to write a letter? What else can we do to support this? Who can get the envelope and that type of thing. A good leader will make it all kind of connect.
Right. Instead of saying you need to do this, you need to do. A lot of times we're depending on leadership to do things that they really don't know a lot about.
That's true, because we have to think now. Most of the time in a school, a principal came from teaching a specialty area, or maybe they taught science, maybe they taught social studies.
Right. So
they may know a lot about that, but to expect them to know a lot about every subject area is unrealistic. So the leader just is kind of real fluent in what they know.
And then what's this? And then I think a good leader has to say that's too much. That's what I'm saying.
What does that mean? That's too much.
You know, hey, let's bag off of this a little bit. We got too much on our plate right now.
Oh, yes.
We got too much on our plate right now, y'all. We're not going to take another thing on until we have gotten some of this off of our plate. Because think about all of the check marks that we have that we need to do.
Yes.
You know, sometimes a good leader has to say, y'all, let's finish this up first before, you know, we come. You know, even with building a house, like, hey, what we're gonna build? Let's go find a lot first. Let's figure out what we're gonna build first before we even talk about what kind of house we can build.
Right.
They may not even allow that to be over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But a lot of times the leader needs to stop and say, stop, pump your brakes, guys. Let's stop. And I think in leadership, you asked me what good leadership is. I think good leadership should be about self-care for his team too.
That's a very good point.
It should be about self-care.
Especially these days.
Yeah, these days too.
Like
I don't want to burn them out, and I'm not going to make you do something that I wouldn't do. Self-care. So you know what? So Jackie's been doing this for a week. So Jackie, let me take over this for the day. Let me take this. You take the day off. Go home. You know, it's after school. I know how to do this. Let me do this because I've been going home every day. You've been here.
Right.
So let me give you a break right here. Or you say, hey, I got a doctor's appointment. Let me take over that. Don't worry about the stress of trying to find somebody to get this done or whatever. The self-care, I think, is one of the most important things in leadership, because if we're not taking care of our team, not only will our team fail, but it makes me fail as a leader. Because I just believe that a leader is only strong as his team.
And the message that it sends to your staff, it just sends such a good, warm message to your staff that I'm in this with you. You know, it's not, I'm the leader, but I am in this with you. Let's go back to something you said. You said that's too much. And, you know, that's a lot. There's so much going on in this school. It is unbelievable sometimes. But I don't know if you've ever done that training, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders, Stephen Covey. Well, one thing I learned in that training, and which helps me all the time, is let me get 3 things done. Because they said once you go past that 3rd thing, you can create goals. You can create 10, but you need to focus on just 3. Once you get past that, all of it is going to be a failure in a sense. You just can't do more than 3 things. And I see sometimes, just as you do, just as you mentioned, we are trying to do too much. We can't do all of this stuff and be successful.
And what's this? And as a leader, what does that do to me as a leader? Now I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And I can't
keep up.
But watch this. My frustration changed my attitude. Oh, now I'm snappy. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now I can't focus on my team where you asking me a simple question. And I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. You know, you're just snappy and you really can't do it. And when you finally get yourself together, you go, man, I talked to Miss Collins the wrong way. You know, but look what you did.
If you're a good leader, you might come back and say that.
But what's it? But if you're not a good leader, you would never go back to Miss Collins and say, Miss Collins, you know what? I messed up. And, you know, and so many of us, our principals, they ain't like Joe Clark, but they have the Joe Clark syndrome. It's my way or the highway.
Highway.
It is.
Right.
They have Joe Clark syndrome. They may not yell at you or act like he behaved, but it's a my way or the highway, you know, attitude. And you're like, come on, man, just listen to me this time. You know, some days you're like, hey, man, can you give me a minute? I need to get something off my chest.
Right.
You may just need to go in there and say, I just got to breathe. Give me a place to breathe. Can I close the door? I don't need you to say nothing. Just sit there. Just let me breathe. Let me say what I got to say. I'm going to walk out. I'm done. I had to say that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It has nothing to do with school. It has nothing to do with anybody, because teachers bring so much baggage to school with them from so many other resources, not home. I'm not talking about home life. I'm talking about so many other resources where you're trying to figure out, man, how do I deal with this, man? This is a DCS problem, or is it not a DCS problem?
Mm-hmm.
Some student stopped you on the sidewalk and said something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, man, you really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are, a parent said something to you on the sidewalk,
Right.
or a bus
Somebody
driver,
send you an email or
whatever,
something.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to have that leadership to say, "Let me hold on, stop, stop, messenger. Now let's look at this. This ain't bad as you think it is, man. Let me handle this for you."
I think that ties into the self-care part of it, because I think that when educators feel like they are respected, that they can trust their leader, that you care about them, and you're showing that your actions, self-care. Okay, I'm gonna buy lunch for everybody, or whatever the budget allows. Hey, let me get some snacks for the teachers and sodas or whatever, water. I think that's you'll look forward to probably going to work and probably doing a great job. That, hey, they're gonna have some donuts every Monday or something like that. It's when they don't provide any care or any support, you like, they don't care. I think that's one of the reasons why the absence rate is so high amongst teachers. And I think COVID should have definitely showed us, hey, wait a minute, stop. I need to do a better job of this. Everybody should have been looking at themselves, when COVID hit and saying, I'm going to do a better job in providing more support and showing them that I care.
Let me jump in there with that self-care and see what self-care does. When you start taking care of me, what I would do, I will reciprocate the same thing to you.
Exactly.
And I will take care of you. And I go, say you the principal, and I go, let me pop that. Tell you one of the things you're doing something every week. You know what? Let's get a popcorn machine. I'll pop that, and I'll take care of that part for you. And we can have this on Thursday. Now teachers are looking for this on Thursday, so when they come down the hall, I do so much in my classroom now that teachers come by. I'm popping popcorn. I got to sign up fresh popcorn for all teachers. They just come in and get it. They get low, we pop some more. It's just melting up the whole hall. Now the principals are down there. Man, you got popcorn again. You got popcorn again. Man, I'm so glad I ain't got to do this now. Right. So that takes something that's off their plate.
Right.
Because you were taking care of us. We said, you know what? Man, you go do something else. Let me handle this right here.
Right.
Let me handle this. So teachers will start taking things off your plate that's self-care, because they said, you know what, I would enjoy doing that too. And that brings about the self-care for other teachers and an enjoyment where they can plug into your ideas and they should let you do it. Because what happened with us with the popcorn machine, we had kids that was giving us Amazon cards. And we had so many Amazon cards. I'm talking about we had like $300-$400 for Amazon card. And I said, let's buy a popcorn machine. What we're going to do with the popcorn machine? We're going to pop popcorn for the faculty. And so now, and we're going to pop popcorn for the students on certain days. So now it became something that the principal said, I said, I got an idea. I got an idea. I got an idea that we can do this for this. So now all you got to do is make the announcement.
Again, it's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive.
Everybody's included. So hey, I'm gonna come to work on Thursdays or whenever you pop in that popcorn.
That's right.
Because I want.
That's right.
I want to engage and have some good fresh popcorn.
Right.
Again, when you take care of your staff, that's in any place now. Any leadership, when they take care of the staff, guess what? The staff will take care of them. I wanted you to go back and touch a little bit more, because we're at 28 minutes past. I want you to go back and touch a little bit more on that bad leadership. Again, I think we've all seen and experienced, and it's not just in education, it's everywhere, but it affects not only the teachers when you have bad leadership, it's going to affect the kids. It affects your relationship with children. It affects your relationship with parents. Where I could call that parent back right now. Now I'm just going to wait 2 or 3 days, and then the parent's going to be mad at me. And guess what? They're going to be calling the principal next, So that bad leadership really can affect and make things go.
So let me go back to the bad part. And I talked about the principle. The good leadership was at the door speaking, right? The bad leadership walks in, never speaks to anybody that's outside. They just get out of their car, come across thing, go right to their office, and that's the end of it.
Sometimes close the door.
That's what I'm saying. The bad leadership, that bad leadership, they have not tried to create a relationship with teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what everything that has come from them has been negative. Negative.
Every email you
every
get,
email is something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you see that now, you're just very nervous to even open up an email
Mm-hmm.
from that person because you already know it's something that's not positive.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not bringing any positive energy into the school,
Mm-hmm.
to the school system. And and what moves us is positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
So if that principal doesn't have positive energy, and every time she just, instead of going into your room, all they're doing is just sitting there peeking through the door like they're spying on you. Come in. You see what I'm saying? These are the things that keeps teachers off balance. Bad leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you and no trust.
Mm-hmm.
No trust. And you know what, man? And I'll give you some of that bad leadership. I'm gonna trust. That's what some of the things they were doing. I'm gonna trust that you got your lesson plans. Where are your lesson plans at? They're right there. Just make them visible so I can tell if I walk in, I see a lesson plan folder. I'm not going to go through them.
Mm-hmm.
But she was writing people up for misspelled words in their lesson plan. It wasn't for somebody else. It was for the teacher to know what they were doing. You're reading my lesson plan to the point that you're writing me up because it's a misspelled word. You had 3 misspelled words in the lesson plan.
Look,
I'm not a what you want to call it, editor or whatever you want to call it, newspaper writer. But the key is that a reporter. So I'm just saying, these are some of the things. You know what I'm saying? People didn't want to be around you. They didn't want to be in your presence.
No compassion.
No compassion whatsoever.
That somebody just probably came from home, hard home life, whatever may be going on at home, and then I come to work and you're gonna write me up for a
and you didn't show your
word.
face. There are times, that you have. There has to be a sacrifice from leadership, even when you don't want to be there. There has to be a sacrifice to get there.
Right.
And she was never there. Never did these things, and it was just so crazy. But you start losing your staff, and you don't recognize it because you're a product of yourself. And you thinking everything's good. I finally got rid of Messenger. I finally got rid of Collins. I finally got rid of them. But you forgot that you were losing a big piece of the puzzle, and eventually people won't even identify what the picture was at first. You lost it. It was complete. A lot of times, as principals, when you walk into a school, especially if you don't need to hire anybody, you need to clap your hands and praise God. Because somebody got something together. These people know each other. Let's go in here and say, hey, let's figure out how this runs. There's always going to be some things you want to tweak.
Right.
But you don't go in killing people. You don't go in making casualties. You go in trying to say, let me embrace you. And bad leadership will not embrace ideas of people because they start feeling inferior to the point that this guy think he wants to run the school. Man, I don't want to run the school, man. You know what? I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody here and help you. And bad leadership can't understand it when you need help. And I offer help. I ain't trying to take your job. I'm just saying, man, I just had an idea like you say. So eventually, with bad leadership, you don't get no ideas.
High turnover.
A very high turnover. And watch this. Now that school eventually went on the state investigative report and failing report card. Never been on a report card, always high. All of a sudden, this person comes in, now the state is going to take it over. What does that tell you? But you know what the problem is? But see, you can have bad leadership and it can be a trickle-down effect even from the superintendent's
point. It is a domino effect.
You know what I'm saying?
It's 100%.
Yeah.
It's going all the way down to the kids.
Who put you there? The superintendent put you there. And the superintendent won't fail you, won't let you go because y'all friends or for whatever they put you there for. And then eventually they have to get rid of the superintendent. A new superintendent has to come in and see that person at work. We got to get rid of that person, And look how long it takes for that whole system to get back in place. It would take anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's good.
Most definitely.
Back together.
It will.
Well, talk a little bit, and you can wrap it up with this. Talk a little bit about solutions. What are the solutions to this? Because I think oftentimes we're talking, and it sounds sometimes like educators are complaining, and I don't look at it like that. We're just talking about issues at hand. But, I think sometimes, well, all the time, we need to come with the mindset of having a solution, not if a solution is not offered or given, maybe we can suggest a solution. So what is the solution to that?
Me. It's from my perspective. I think one of the solutions is as leaders, we must be a part of the team, and we have to show ourselves, present ourselves as leaders, but pick up the same amount of equity in the team so that they will know that we are pushing this together. My hands are just not on the car. We're all pushing it.
Push it, yeah.
And also, I think that we need to have some forms within.
That's inclusive. I'm sorry. I want to say that.
We need to have some forms within ourselves that we can talk about things that may be uncomfortable, or make suggestions as a team. Like when we have our little family forum, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And our kids start talking. Well, Daddy, you ain't like that last time. They didn't have no food. They didn't have they will tell you. You understand what I'm saying? So if we could just give a teacher a voice, good leadership, that we can have some open forum panels instead of faculty meetings all the time telling us what we need to do. Now let's just talk, y'all. I know y'all got some things on your chest. If you don't feel good about talking and you don't want nobody to ask questions, write on a note, fold it up, throw it in that basket right there. We'll pull it out and we're going to answer all these before the year's over with, before this semester's over with.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Educators open forum.
Yeah, educators open forum within our school. Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? We got one right here. Why is this happening? Nobody knows whose it is. You see what I'm saying? You have your question ready before we get there. Make sure you fold it up and throw it in there. Type it out, whatever. You don't want anybody to know your handwriting, whatever. Just do it. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that we must do in order to keep teachers happy about what they're doing, so that they can know my voice is going to be heard. I may not speak it verbally, but it's written right there. We know these are eventually going to be read. And then if whatever I teach when it comes outside of the curriculum, then you give everybody a voice to let everybody know, where I'm coming from as an art teacher, a music teacher, or band teacher, or whatever. Yeah. Let everybody know. So now everybody feel good about, well, you ain't just dropping people off on me, because they're known to just say, you got to split this class, everybody go over here.
Right.
Right. And now they feel loaded up. So just a few things, there's so many things that we could do to bring teachers in together. And I think we need to have outside of the school in events. Like, hey, y'all, we're going to go out and eat. We're going to go out and do this. We're going to go out and do this. We're going to do this. We need to get teachers involved and do some things that, and make it mandatory sometimes. You know what, y'all? You make this mandatory.
Yeah, so you can see people outside of what they do at school. They're probably totally different people.
They are.
I know. I am. I think that was a great conversation today, Pastor. I think there's more to be said about leadership and effective leaders. I think that's the biggest piece of the pie in a school, is when you have that leadership that is what we consider a good leader, because when you don't have that, you just have so many breakdowns in everything. We can just go down the list. It's just, and before you know it, again, the bottom line is who is serving the kids,
And have a spirit of trust. Can I say that before we leave? Have a spirit of trust, that I can trust them and they can trust me. We're all adults.
Right.
And if you need something from me, my last principal, she retired, but I loved her to the point that man, I trusted her for everything. Dedrick, I ain't making it. I'm running behind. That's what she would say. I'm running behind. Go pick up 4 dozen donuts for me. I got it. Because she know I'm there. You say, I trust. He gonna be here this time. I trust he gonna be here. You see, we can trust one another.
Right.
And it wasn't the fact that I can't do this for you, but the fact was that you asked me to do this. You trusted me to get this done.
Right.
Because this is something that was important to you. So we have to trust one another. I want to leave that on the front, on the end. It's true. We probably got to come back. There's so much that we can talk about on this, because I want us as teachers to have a good heart, because we're in this thing.
Right.
We're in this thing. Y'all know what? It ain't gonna get no better unless we do some better.
Exactly. We as the educators.
But this is a great day. Another day with Jackie and Dedrick. This is Teacher Talk. We appreciate you joining in with us. Have an awesome and blessed day. May God bless you and may God keep you. Amen.